Hey everybody, it's Brian Asbury, and I just wanted to welcome you to today's episode. If you could, like today's episode, hit that subscribe button, and let's continue to grow the developmentally speaking brand. Today, my guest is an author. He's responsible for your pretty much your whole childhood of why you fell in love with professional wrestling. He's even a former world champion. He's the host of the brand, Mr. Vince Russo. How are you today, sir?
I am all right, bro. How are you? What's going on?
Can't complain. So I'm going to ask you a question that you've probably been asked a million times, and I apologize. But what made you want to get into the world of professional wrestling?
Bro, honestly, I needed a job, man. I had when video stores first started popping up, man, I had two mom and pop stores. And
Mhm.
bro, I loved it. I loved what I was doing. I would still be doing that today. But Blockbuster came along and I couldn't compete with them, and I had a very young family and I needed a job. So I kind of had a connection to, kind of get my foot in the door of professional wrestling. So I saw that as an opportunity to, get a full-time job, and I took advantage of it, and pretty much the rest is history.
So how did that was your first position with the WWF back in the day, and how did that come about?
Yeah, no, my first position, bro, was I started as a freelance writer for the magazine. I did that for a while. The editor of the magazine was shortly thereafter fired. I interviewed for his job and I got it. And, once I was in the building, um, it just kind of, I started getting more and more and more involved with television, basically till I became the head writer of, Raw and SmackDown.
So how was it back then versus today? Because it seems like it's two completely different worlds from when you would have started, and then now it feels like it's not writers today. It's something different.
It's something very different, bro. I don't even know what it is, and that's why, bro, I hear so much. Oh, Vince, you're bitter because they won't hire you and this and that. Bro, first of all, I'm 62 years old. Second of all, I've been doing my podcasting, russosbrand.com, on my own for about 10 years now. And it's very successful. I'm my own boss. I don't have to deal with anybody's BS. I don't have to leave my home. So, I mean, I have the perfect job for me. Number three, bro, like you said, it is a completely different world. I would last there, bro, one day.
Mhm.
Bro, there was a time when it was just me and Vince writing the show. That's it. And then when the Attitude Era really started taking off, Vince couldn't do it anymore. So that's when Ed Ferrara came in, and it was just two guys.
Mhm.
Now you've got 20 something writers and all these people, and bro, I would not last in that environment for 24 hours, man.
I couldn't imagine the headache of like, okay, 19, 20. So what idea are we going
Bro,
with?
especially when you're doing two live weekly shows.
Mhm.
There's no time for that, bro. There's no time to get the opinions of 20 people and sit in on meetings and committees. There's no time for that, bro. And I think that has to do with, in my opinion, why you see a very lackluster production, in my opinion.
Mhm. So when you started taking over, was it how did you get the ideas for the Attitude Era versus what the WWF was at the time, and was that a hard pitch to do?
No, not at all, bro. Because if you have well defined characters
Mhm.
and you are 100% true to those characters, then the show will write itself.
Mhm.
It's that easy, bro. You know how Austin's gonna act under this circumstance. You know how The Rock's gonna act. You know how Take is gonna act. So if you really have well defined characters, bro, the shows just write themselves.
Mhm. And it seemed like back then, like not everybody was a main event star, but everyone still had their place. So like whether it was tag teams or singles or the cruiser, everybody was still invested, and now today it just seems like it's this top guy and this top guy, and everybody else is kind of like filler. There's not really that investment into everybody, I feel.
Yeah, bro, listen, man. It's, when JR turned that roster over to me, bro, I knew it was a big deal to have your name on the WWE roster, and I knew that you earned your way there. So as far as I was concerned, bro, whether you were top guy or first match or intermission, it didn't matter.
Hmm.
My duty and my job and my responsibility was to aid each and every wrestler on that roster to the best of my ability to get them as over as possible. I don't
Hmm.
care who it was. I don't care if it was D'Lo. I don't care if it was The Rock. I don't care if it was Farouk.
Hmm.
That was my job. But clearly, bro, when you look at today's product, that is not the
Hmm.
same. That is not the same ingredients as we used back then.
Mm-mm. And people like to give you crap, but I will say people remember those performers from the Attitude Era more than any other era. So the Ruthless Aggression or anything out of that, it was you got 2 weeks to get over or you're gone. And those names are people that don't get mentioned a lot, but everybody from that time they remember the New Age Outlaws or D'Lo or anybody else because of what you guys did, the work that you put in. And I feel bad for everybody after that because it was just like you're signed, you're in developmental, you bust your ass, you get on TV, you didn't get over that week, you're released, we're gonna pull this guy up. There was no
Yeah.
investment.
Just keep going back out to the barn and bringing in another horse. I mean, that's exactly what it's like, bro. Listen, man, if somebody was on the roster and they did not get over, a part of that was on me. And I took that very, very, very personal because I knew, JR was signing the best. So if somebody failed and if somebody fell short, yeah, bro, like maybe they didn't have the it factor. Maybe they only had the ability to go so far. But I also took great, great, great responsibility in that. Today, they don't care. I mean, people come and go, bro. You're not going to remember any of these people 20 years from now.
Hmm. It's like I think the number they said it's over 100 in developmental. How do you manage?
You
How do you
don't.
develop?
It's a factory, bro.
Hmm.
It's a factory. You develop they're going through a factory. If one doesn't get over, no big deal. Get rid of them and bring the next one in.
Hmm. There's no. It just seems like there's no investment.
There is no investment.
Mm-mm.
Absolutely none. Absolutely none, bro.
Was there anything that you wanted to do back then during your time at WWE that you didn't get to do?
Nah, bro, not really. I wrote the script and then me and Ed wrote the script. I mean, we wrote the whole thing from top to bottom. We presented it to Vince.
Hmm.
Vince would do some tweaks here and there, but there were no rewrites. He would never, ex-nay anything that we came up with. So there was really nothing I wanted to do that I wasn't able to do.
And now all you hear is it's Raw's changed last minute. It's this, it's that. It's like you're paying these people, but do you trust them? Do you know what I mean?
I say that all the time, bro. Bro, they don't trust their own performers. If you're telling somebody to follow a promo word for word, that means you don't trust them. And my thing is, if you don't trust them, then why are they there? Like, why are they even on the roster if you don't trust them to go out and cut a promo on their own?
Hmm. Is there any particular moments you're most fond of during your time there?
Um, Bro, the thing I'm most proud of and fond of, to be honest with you, is just work ethic.
Hmm.
Nobody before, bro, and nobody since worked as hard as we did. Nobody. So whether you liked my work or not, bro, I could care less because it's subjective. So those that like entertainment are going to like my show. The Dave Meltzers of the world who want 20-minute wrestling matches are not going to like my shows. I could care less. But one thing I do know that I'm very proudful of is nobody worked harder than me.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody, bro. Nobody outworked me. And I look at these shows today, and to me, it looks like they're just sleepwalking through these shows. And that's the part that I really think is sad, because it looks like they're not even trying. And bro, I think, I said a couple of weeks ago, I think I've come to the conclusion that the WWE currently just looks at itself as content creators.
Mm-hmm.
They've got networks out there, they've got streaming services out there that want and need content, and they're just turning out content, not really caring if it's good or bad. And I mean, and if you look at it that way, it's a little bit more understandable,
Mm-hmm.
because I mean, the TV is not good. And like I said, I don't think they care. I think they're just providing content.
They just care about numbers.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
It's just a completely different world. So how was that trans? Oh, go ahead.
No, the one thing, bro, that misses, like with all that, I understand it's a business, bro, and I
Mm-hmm.
understand they're making money handle. I get all that. But the one thing I can't get past is pride.
Mm-hmm.
Pride. I don't care how much money you're making, man. When I wrote those shows, my name was on those shows. So I had a lot of pride in putting out the best show I possibly could. I don't know how I could work there and just provide content, like not caring whether it was good or bad. I couldn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I always had to, do the best I possibly can to provide the best show. So I don't know what happened to that pride.
It's the difference between passion and a paycheck.
Absolutely,
Mm-hmm.
man. And I'm not a paycheck guy. I
Mm-hmm.
am not a paycheck guy.
How was that transition over to WCW when it came time to go there? Was it truly a mess like they said it was? Or
Yeah, it was, bro. I
yeah.
mean, the first thing was it was a split locker room. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that was as clear as day from day one. It was very political. The top guys were doing everything in their power to keep the mid tier guys down, and if you champion the mid card guys, the main guys will wanted to cut your throat. It was a political battlefield,
Mm-hmm.
bro. Just a political battlefield. And I don't make excuses. I knew what I was getting into, bro, but I don't think I knew the degree. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think I really knew how serious it was. But again, man, I don't regret
Mm-hmm.
going there for a minute. I worked just as hard on those shows. I'm proud of those shows, so I have no regrets with that whatsoever.
Was it? Did they have a lot more people on the roster than the WWE did at the time? Like, were they just signing everybody because they had the power plant? Because it seemed like WCW invested more in a developmental than what the WWE did at the
Yeah, no,
time.
they definitely had a lot of people. That's why, bro, like I think the first 9 nitros that Ed and I wrote, they were 3-hour nitros.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, we had no problem writing a 3-hour show. I mean, there was more than enough talent there to write a good, compelling 3-hour show. So we never had an issue with that.
Mm-hmm. And they just wanted to keep the same top guys that have been the top guys for the last decade and not
Yeah,
give
bro, there
pass the
were a
torch.
lot of guys that were getting paid a lot of money, and because they were getting paid a lot of money, you had to put them on TV.
Mm-hmm. Booker T credits you that if it wasn't for you, he would have never had that world
He wouldn't have.
championship.
I,
Mm-hmm.
I I mean, he wouldn't have. And bro, I'm not taking any of the credit for Booker T because he deserved it, bro. And bro, my proudest moment is in wrestling was being able to be in a position
Mm-hmm.
where I could reward Booker T with something he had earned for years and years and years. That was my proudest moment, bro. Hulk Hogan could have sued me 10 times over, and it wouldn't have mattered less to me. That was my proudest moment.
I mean, you changed. You really did do something very special when you did that, and that's probably one of the most talked about things towards the end of WCW was Booker T and that whole situation.
Right. And it wouldn't have happened. I mean,
Hmm.
he's absolutely right. If it would have been the old guard, they would have never allowed that to happen.
Was there anybody else you wanted to try to help out like that and build up that they just wouldn't?
Oh yeah, no, bro. All the guys in the middle, from the Eddie Guerreras to the Chris Benoit's and the Conans, and there was a slew of guys
Hmm.
in the middle that were just not having Chris Jericho, just not having the opportunity to go anywhere.
I just like business wise, like I just don't understand why they wouldn't. I guess it is the difference between a paycheck and someone who loves wrestling, basically, is that they
Yeah.
just don't care about these people that truly want to be here versus the people that are being paid to be
It's
there.
politics, bro.
Hmm.
It's just it's all 100% politics.
Hmm. How was your time in TNA wrestling?
It was okay, bro. I mean, it was two different companies. I mean,
Hmm.
it was a different company between before Hogan and Bischoff.
Hmm.
And when Hogan and Bischoff came in, it turned more into another wrestling company than a family. And, the fun started being taken out of it for me. And
Hmm.
again, that's why, like in 2012, I just decided to take my ball and go home because it just wasn't fun anymore.
I think people have a hard time understanding, like people like you in the position you were in, or a performer. Why would they leave? Why would they do that? There's people who
Because,
would.
bro, people, they're marks.
Hmm.
This is not the dream
Hmm.
job they think it is, bro. And, at the end of the day, bro, no matter what job I ever had, if I got to the point of not being happy, I left. It's that simple, bro. This is not a dream job. Me working in wrestling was a job.
Hmm.
I mean, I own my own businesses. I worked for CBS Publishing. It was a job, and I treated it like a job.
Hmm.
You got these marks on the outside that think it's a dream and it's my destiny, and I dreamed about this when I was a kid. Give me a break, bro. It is an ugly business to be in. It is a hard business. It is a political business, and it literally could suck the life out of
Hmm.
you. And that's why whenever I got to a point of not being happy, I just left.
Is that when you launched your brand here?
Yeah, about 2012, man. I left TNA. I did not have another job lined up. I had no idea what I was gonna do. I just knew I was miserable working there, bro. So, I didn't know what I was gonna do the first couple of months, and then I kind of got into podcasting, and I've been doing it ever since.
How was the growing pains with that? Was it an easy transition for you, or was it stepping into a new world, basically?
Nah, it was easy for me, bro, because if I ever did have any kind of a dream job, it would have been radio. I mean,
Hmm.
I loved radio. I always wanted to be in radio. So, like, this was the next best thing, and of course, bro, luckily I was in a position where, like I saved my money. So, because you got to have that period to build the business, and you're not going to make money the first year or the first 2 years.
Hmm.
And that's what happened to me, but eventually the more you can keep doing it, the more successful you're going to be. So like I said, man, we're going 10 years strong now, and that's why I would never ever look back at this point.
Is there anything that you want to do with the brand to make it grow more? Are you happy with it? Is there any
No, I'm
future
happy
plans?
with where it is now, bro. I mean, I'll add shows and delete shows, to just kind of keep things fresh for me, bring new people in and stuff like that. But I'm totally content with what I'm doing now. Honestly, bro, I wish I could talk less about wrestling
Hmm.
because I'm not a wrestling fan. Like, I
Hmm.
don't enjoy it. I only watch it because I get paid to watch it.
Hmm.
So I hope over time I can talk less and less about
Hmm.
wrestling.
Absolutely. I mean, you're a very accomplished person. You've earned that right. at this point in your
Yeah,
life.
bro. And listen, man, if it was entertaining to me, I'd want to talk about
Hmm.
it, but it's not entertaining to me.
Hmm.
But, a lot of people like to hear my opinions because they know I'm going to be honest. I'm not looking for a freaking job.
Hmm.
I'm not looking to kiss anybody's ass. I'm going to tell you how I really feel. And, a lot of people like that aspect. So, again, man, this is my job and this is what I do today. So I'll continue to do it.
If you could give any advice to anybody getting into professional wrestling,
Don't,
well, don't.
don't. Bro, I get that all the time. And I tell people, bro, I don't mean to be a dick, but with a good conscience, I could not tell you to pursue a career in the wrestling business. Never. I would never. I wouldn't tell that to my worst enemy, bro. It's not. It's not. It may look great from the outside. You have no idea what it's like on the inside, bro. And I would not recommend that to anybody, especially a writer, because I was just talking about, all these streaming services now, bro. Content is king.
Hmm.
So if you are if you are good at your craft, bro, you could find work. There's so much out there. The wrestling business would it wouldn't even be my last recommendation because I wouldn't recommend it at all.
I
And
don't
if
blame you.
that sounds bitter, well, I don't. I'm not bitter. Like I could care less.
Hmm.
I'm just telling you, like it will have a bad effect on you.
Hmm.
Bro. Like, come on, man. Look at Tammy Sitch. Look at Sonny. I
Hmm.
mean, bro, Sonny fell into the wrestling business at 21 years old. 21 years old, almost like right out of high school. Look at the path she took. Look at what happened to people like China. Look at
Hmm.
what happened to people like Daphne. Bro, this is, this is a business that's not for everybody. And I always say this, bro, if you are a good person at heart, you'll never exist in the wrestling business.
I agree because the way that it seems like they set you up is here's the contract, here's what you're going to do, and then it's all or nothing. And if it's nothing, and then you've wasted your whole time and your whole life on doing this, and then once you're released, it's like, what do you do next?
And it's not only that, bro, if it's nothing, that nothing could be because of the pettiest of reasons. You didn't shake somebody's hand. You didn't answer a question the way they wanted you to answer it. It could be the pettiest of things, bro. And it's so, bro, the wrestling business is like so vindictive and childish and sophomoric and like it's just it's not a good business
Mm-mm,
to get into.
mm-mm. Well, what do you have going on next? Or anything? Any upcoming events or anything?
Nah, bro, just I podcast every day, bro. I podcast multiple shows every day. I podcast with a lot of my friends.
Hmm.
Later today, I got to do my show with Stevie Ray. Yesterday, I did my show with EC3. Tuesday, I did my show with Stevie Richards, and then I've got the Disco Inferno in there. I just finished my show with Al Snow, so I get to do shows with friends,
Hmm.
and it's very 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 rewarding now. And one thing I do want to say though, bro, is I kind of got like a Black Friday thing going on right now, where if you've never been a Patreon of mine, you can go right now to patreon.com/Vince TWC, and you can get a free week of Russo's brand. So you could hear the shows all week, all the people on these shows, the fun that we have, the truth that we tell at basically no cost to you. So if you guys want to try it out, it's patreon.com/Russo TWC.
Where do you have time to sleep?
I don't sleep much, bro. I sleep maybe a couple of hours a night. That's about it. Because, yeah, man, literally, bro, I got Al Snow. Then I have you. Then after this, believe it or not, I do a Batman 66 review. Then I do something live on YouTube. Then I got Stevie Ray. So it's every day is jam packed.
Well, I just want to say thank you for what you've done for professional wrestling and what you continue to do, sir. It's been an honor to take out some of your time today, and I greatly appreciate it.
Well, I greatly appreciate you, bro. And I thank you for having me on, man.
Thank you. If there's anything I can ever do, please feel free to reach out.
Same way. Goes two ways, man.
Thank you.